So get situated so that you can sit comfortably. And when I say that, I really, really mean that because there's no point in sitting in an uncomfortable position. And as we were just discussing, this whole practice eventually leads to, I shouldn't say eventually leads to, because oftentimes people do asana practice concurrent with a formal practice of meditation. But we're moving toward a prolonged periods of meditation that one is able to sit easily for some time, whatever that might be, beginning with 5 minutes, eventually perhaps to 40 minutes or to an hour a day. So just get comfortable. If you need, I want you to just, for the purpose of today's sequence, I want you to bring your attention to the compactness of the hips. Now, if you're sitting cross-legged, inherent in sitting cross-legged is a natural compacting. There's a natural compacting. You don't have to make it happen, but I like to put the thumb and index fingers at the hip creases. And Nancy, you've put the Yoga Patha on. That will encourage more of that sensation of compactness. So if you want to do that, that's fine with me. All right. And then when you have a compactness of the hips, sense that the top of the sacrum is moving in and up. And then you're creating just the right environments for your spine to be tall and uplifted. Sides of the rib cage stand up, the armpit chest moves forward. So sit in a way that you feel the uplifted quality of the spine, the tallness of the spine, but not with a sense of rigidity. Not with a sense of rigidity. And we'll do a little bit of back care basics at the beginning of the class today. And then again, you can adjust the movement of the shoulder blades, do whatever you need to what I'll say, evolve the pose being sitting, but you're comfortable, you're at ease, you're not struggling, you're not efforting. This should be a rather comfortable seat. And just sit and know that you're sitting, sit and know that sitting is happening. See if you can encourage a sense of well-being as you close the eyes, stilling, stopping, pausing, not on the usual conditional treadmills of our lives. Our lives that typically involve moving, reacting, changing. See if you can make space for fresh responses to arrive. Responding freshly in ways perhaps not thought of. See if you can put down the habitual and see anew. And then perhaps finally, as a Dharma daily practice, see the ways in which throughout the day you have small amounts of suffering from conditioned habits of mind, of body. Because those small things really and do add up to big things. So perhaps, let's just say one doesn't like the rain and it's raining out, there's a little bit of suffering involved. If one only likes summer and not winter, there's a good amount of suffering involved. And these all add up. I see some of you are smiling. Now, when you're ready, you can repeat the Bodhisattva vow to yourself or a personal vow that you might have made in the past. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. May I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxy. Until all beings are enlightened, I vow to be here to serve them all. And then when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, gently open them and stretch out your legs. So we're going to do a smidge. So I alluded, those of you who are coming in, we just to bring you up to speed, we sat comfortably in a way that created a tallness in the spine. Now I want you to focus, again, still on the tallness of the spine, but relaxing the lower spine in preparation for today's class. So we'll do the Shavasana with the lower legs on the seat of the chair. You all know this one. And if you don't have a chair, don't worry about it. You can put your knees on a bolster. So this one, the lower legs on the seat of the chair. And then just to reiterate, you know, we did do a lot of Shavasans at the beginning. In fact, I think we start almost every class with a Shavasana. And I don't want you to frame it in terms of just COVID. I want you to frame it in terms of it's just really, really wise to relax the body before practice, okay? So we're going to do this one. I'll give you different ways in which you can use this bolster. Some of you like it on your shins. Do notice how the knees are slightly forward of the hips. For the back, the very best way is to either have it, Nancy, you've done it this way, on the tall side of the bolster, pushing the thighs back, or having the bolster on the abdomen. So this is a way of doing Shavasana for the back. All right. Again, it's a wonderful way to begin the practice in a quiet state. You can belt the feet or the shins. That's another option. Okay. So as we get situated, oh, welcome back, Joanne. Joanne, and in terms of the calf, I'll just so I have it top of mind now. I'm going to encourage a wide stance in Parsvottanasana, and I would say to you, don't go as wide, because that would be more aggravated on the calf. Just you'll take a shorter stance. Have the arms out to the side. Good, Luna. So again, explore the bolster as you have it, Luna, on the shins. Explore it on the roots of the thighs to create traction. So do one that you normally or you haven't done. I think we've done them all, certainly in the past 20 months. Or you can put it on your abdomen, unless you've just eaten, and that might not feel well. So the very best, if your back is bothering you, I will say putting it on the roots of the thighs, hi Sue, on the roots of the thighs or on the abdomen, Joanne, as you're doing it, is really, really wonderful. So good, Mary Beth. That's it. Winnie, that's good with your pronating the palms on the bolster itself to get that traction. Just relax with the arms out to the side. You can close your eyes. Sense how the top of the sacrum is moving into the body, how the lower spine can relax and spread with the feet hip width apart on the elevated on the chair seat, how that relaxes the lower spine. We don't want the spine to be rigid. We want it to be supple. We want the thoracic spine to move away from the floor. We did a little bit of that last week on Friday, I believe, when we put the roll behind our back. So the spine is not being, the feeling that we're not sleeping on the spine. If you need head support, then obviously you've taken a little bit for the back of your head and neck. And just use this time well, these first 2 and oftentimes 3 poses to merge the body, the breath, and the mind, which are very fragmented. I mean, most of the time, quite frankly, we are extremely fragmented from ourselves. To really be present in the body, to observe thoughts, to observe speech, to observe actions is quite a challenge. Of course, as many of you know, this whole practice, certainly a formal practice of meditation, helps one become more embodied, more aware, and not absent to what's going on. Spend another moment. We won't take the arms overhead because I'd like you to keep the brain quiet. And of course, the arms, anytime we take the arms overhead, it triggers the mind to move around, to produce thoughts, the proliferation of thoughts. And for right now, I'd rather not have that. Do open up the heel hinge as you're doing collar and spread the feet. The back of the heel. That's the heel hinge. Spread the toes without causing tension in the toes, which is challenging. Now, what I'd like everyone to do, which is also wonderful for the back and is beautiful moving along after this, is simply just take the bolster off if you have it on, the abdomen or the fronts of the thighs. Draw the knees into the chest, Dvipada, and just rest there. You can put if you want the bolster, you can go on the shins now so that the sacrum feels flat. Have the feet hip width apart. So now Dvipada. See if you can draw the thighs close into the chest. This is very good on one's back. Don't worry if your hands don't have to come to the ankles. They can come to the top of the shin or mid-shin. Dvipada. Good, good, good. Okay, now you can roll to your side. All right, now we're doing Supta Padangusthasana twice. You'll need a belt and a block, okay? But first, before we do Supta Padangusthasana 1, you're going to use a wall. Don't worry if you don't have a wall, because I'd like you to get this again. This is the third one for a smidge of back hair basics. So you're lying with the legs bent. You're about 14 inches from the wall. Then you extend one leg, and I get traction. I don't know if you could see that in my lower spine. And then extend the other leg, and then we'll do Ekapada a few rounds of Ekapada. Why? To elongate the groin. So a lot of this work today is on the frontal groin. In this case, as I take the right knee in, it's the left. All right, so situate yourself near a wall. And what I think about this as a separate pose. This is supine mountain pose. So you're lying flat, the knees are bent, the feet are flat, hip width apart. That's good, Luna. All right, and then when you're ready, hold the sides of the mat, kick the spine, especially the dorsal spine in, so that the armpit chest receives that action. Now extend through either heel, the heel hinge, left leg, and then right. Go slowly. That's good, Luna. So do you see how you moved away from the wall? All right, now wait there. Good. Now take the right knee into the chest, Ekapada. The first one, you'll see that the leg doesn't come in so close, but eventually as we go through a few rounds, it will. Now extend through the core of the heel as you take the left leg in. So alternating. And I'd like you to do a few rounds alternating right, left, say 10 times. You don't have to stay long. Work with the breath. Observe, good Val, how the thigh will merge with the chest. The thigh will merge with the chest. Aiming to get the thighs close to the chest. Now just imagine, because I'm planting the seeds for something coming up, you are standing in mountain pose. Now you're lying down in mountain pose and you're lifting, and we've done this before. I think Mary Beth showed it. We're lifting the leg up to the collarbones. So just imagine you were doing that standing, back and forth. Do this for the frontal groins. The head is down though, Tom. Yeah, keep the head down. Head is down. You're just taking knee into the chest. Do several rounds, good. Merging the thigh with the chest. Good, good, good. Relax the neck. Use a support if you need it. Okay, now when you're ready, we'll all start on the right side. Take the right knee in, Ekapada Pavanuttasana. Observe the length in your frontal groin. In fact, take your left hand on your frontal groin and feel that window opening top to bottom. So you can put your thumb on the frontal left hip bone and your index finger where the top of the thigh and the pelvis meet. That's the window I'm referring. That's where your hands would be. All right? All right, now put the belt on across the ball or sole of the foot. Start at 90. Okay, now wait there at 90. I want the legs straight. Knees, no knees. The knees are open. the side ribs even, Steven, and the hips compact. The reason why I'm saying these points is that when we do Parshvottanasana, you have to get those standing. Now begin to move the leg any amount. So the legs are straight. There's no knees. You're holding the belt with two hands and you're moving the leg. Now it becomes an abdominal pose. Keep the head down. We're not doing the final. Watch the right hip, how it wants to move up or out to the right. Make those hips compact. Hips are compact. Keep the right leg running in line with the right shoulder, so it's not crossing over the median line. Hips compact, side ribs tall, spine supple and tall. And now continue to move the leg. These are good, Joanne, good. So these are good. A lot of you are keeping that right leg straight, which is what I want to see, because the legs in Parshvottanasana, which we'll do soon, this is a supine Parshvottanasana. And just to point out, we're using the pose called Parshvottanasana, which you all know, as a platform for something unusual, Pavrita Parshvakanasana. Go to your maximum, whatever that might be. So some of you are about 100 degrees and maybe a little bit beyond that, 120. But legs are straight. So all the metrics still apply as you go further and further. Metrics being legs straight, side ribs even, no knees, spine tall. Good, Mary Beth. All right, now for symmetry, take Dvipada, both knees into the chest to balance the sacrum side to side. So oftentimes, especially if one has had some back issues, it's good to balance asymmetrical things with symmetrical things. Now extend through the core of your right heel, keep the left knee in, take Ekapada, left knee in, and then we're doing Supta 1, left side, staying roughly about 2 minutes as we did on the right. Take the leg to 90, get the metrics from the get-go, meaning at 90 degrees, legs are straight, no knees, that's it, Mary Beth. Move the left hip in, don't let it hike up, because as you move the leg, what happens? The left side tends to shorten. So now begin to move the leg beyond 90. Of course, if there's a hamstring issue or something, then the Val, left side, you know, it's going to feel different than the right. Tom, see if you can keep the airborne leg absolutely straight. The left leg now we're on. We did the right, now we're on the left. And then the right, and then you can keep the right leg bent, Tom, but just keep the left leg straight. Observe the difference in the two sides. And keep moving the leg. Remember, as you move the leg, it becomes an abdominal pose, and don't sleep on the spine. Kick the dorsal spine in the upper spine, but keep the lumbar spine spread. That's really important. The lumbar spine, especially for the more flexible among you, should not dig in. The lower lumbar, like you did in Dvipada, like you sat, should spread. And then you can avoid future back pain. Keep going. So you can see the difference on the sides, Carla. Or don't let the left hip move out or up. Imagine you're standing with your left foot forward and your right leg back. You're in Parshvottanasana. That's why we're doing it. Well done. Now go back to Dvipada. That was about 2 minutes on this side. Okay. Now stay in Dvipada, and hopefully you'll have a block nearby, and you all know this one. Now, we want to open the groin a little bit more, so I'm going to ask you to place a block on the low side underneath your pelvis. So you can just do it like I'm doing. You'll have a belt. We're doing the same exact pose, only we're accessing the left frontal groin. So I put my pelvis on the low side, I extend. You don't have to be at the wall, although I like to be at the wall. I do want to make one statement about this, though, remembering the last time I saw this, and we'll go to 90 degrees. Now, here's the thing. If your heel, left heel, is way, way off the floor, not way off the floor. The left back of the thigh is way off the floor. Support the left heel with a little bit of blanket, you know, because I want you to keep your left thigh. Let's see, Mary Beth. So I want the heel, we're back to doing the right side. That's it, Val. Start at 90. So now this is when now your pelvis is higher, right? So if you think about it, the geometry is such that because the pelvis is higher, the left groin that I asked you to open up that window is now more, it's like a bridge, right? It's longer. So I want you to feel that. Mary Beth, that's good in profile, I can see it. So the belt is still there. You're holding it, same exact pose. Supta Panigustasana 1 to open that left groin even more. Good. Because what I'm going to ask you to do down the road, and I'm pointing these out because it's good to connect now what you're doing with what's coming up. When we step back further with the back leg in Parsvottanasana, why are we doing that? To open the groin of the back leg. Joanne, when I give the instruction to step back, you may not be able to step back as much because of the calf. So I'm just, you know, it's so nice to point out the obstacles on the path, right? Isn't it nice when you're driving in a car and someone knows the path, you're driving at night and someone goes, oh, there's something up there, you know, look out for it, look out for this, look out for that. Okay, keep going. It's easier the second time because the hamstrings have been warmed up. So I'm glad to see that the legs are straight. Many of you, Carl, are using that technique that I described, pulling the toes down, lifting the heel up so the back of the knee, good Joanne, can open. That's it, Suki. And then move the left. Now observe when the pelvis again is elevated, how now the left groin can open. You're going to need that down the road, literally down the road. And then I would say if your left leg is bending, then putting what I'll call a smidge of heel support at the heel hinge, a little bit of blanket, not underneath the calf, but the heel can be really helpful. I don't see much of that happening now. But if your left thigh, good Sue, was flying up, then the heel hinge support would be great. Okay, now take the belt off, take the left knee in, start at 90, and same thing, Supta 1. So basically we did Supta 1 twice, 2 minutes each time. If your leg is flying, in this case, the right leg, obviously, if your right leg is flying off the floor, I would support the right heel. And now begin to move the leg. Move. So if I said to you, move your inner heels, move the inner left heel further and further away from your inner right heel, you would know what I mean. So the left leg is moving way beyond 90 degrees, but not at the expense of the left hip lifting up, nor at the expense of the left hip moving out. That's the compactness of the hips. And then get the tallness in the spine from the compacting of the hips. Good. These look really good. And it's, you know, Tom, do you have a belt there? You could, yeah. I think probably be best to, use the belt. Joanne, you're doing the technique of the elbows down on the floor to kick the dorsal in. I like that. So many different ways to do a pose. I mean, we could spend the whole hour and a half just on this pose. Okay, now come back for symmetry again. Bend your legs, place the feet flat on the floor, lift your pelvis up, extricate the block, and now Dvipada again for the back. So again, asymmetric, followed by symmetrical. Do have the feet apart, hold the shins. Flex the feet, Lubna, good. And now get the knees in closer and closer, having done the abdominal work. That's good, Peggy. Such a good pose. And actually, why don't we add this to it? Let's do, because it's so good on the groin, what we did, how we started the class last week, if you remember, if you were here. Remember, we did Ekapada, not Jatara Parvatasana, this quasi iteration. Just go back and forth also. So I'm just we took not a detour today, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time on back care. These are back care poses, but not so much in a back care sequence, but rather in a sequence where we want the spine to be supple and tall, supple and tall. Now we're going to stand in Samastiti, Tadasana, have a block between your inner upper thighs and hold the brick from your outer hips. So you're taking the block on the narrow side. You can bring the feet together, although I would say if anyone's back is hurting, I would keep the feet apart and put your thumb and index finger and sense at where the top of the thigh and the pelvis meet and get that compactness in the hips. Press the feet, lift the arches, lift the kneecaps. The pelvis should not feel like it's sinking to the floor. That's not what we want. As you press the feet, lift the knees, outer shins in, inner knees away, tallness in the side walls of the chest, tallness in the spine. Of course, I would say that if for anyone who's been having back issues, this should be done rather regularly. Okay, now keeping the brick between your inner thighs, take the arms up to Urdhva Hastasana. Okay, now stand in profile to me, and now I'd like you to take your arms back, but the top of the sternum forward. The arms back, but the top of the sternum forward, which is not so easy. Okay, Peggy, be careful, just have the arms out to the sides, so in line with the shoulders would be better. Okay, good, Nancy, arms back, but top of the chest forward. Now find out, everyone, in taking the top of the chest forward, don't let the thighs come forward. So the arms are overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Unless you have a shoulder issue, then you can keep the hands on the hips or taking the arms out to the side. So Tom, you can take the arms out to the side or, yeah, arms up. Okay, now bring the arms down by your side and interlace your hands on the crown of the head. Let the elbows go apart. Get the shoulder blades flat on the back. And now Urdhva Badanguliasana, reach up through the fingertips. Don't let the thighs come forward. The back, the block should have, good, Joanne, block should move back. All right, now bring the hands down to the crown, change the swap, and then stretch up through the thumb side, If this is challenging, go back to Urdhva Hastasana, arms apart. So these are the basic arm positions. Now take your belt, and we're going to just put your wrist through a small loop. The reason why I'm teaching this is this obviously we went over this last week when in terms of moving along the arm, if anyone has shoulder issues, the default position is hands on hips or just arms down, or even this one, breaking the belt. Moving along is out to the side and very far along is up, okay? Into Urdhva Hastasana or Urdhva Badanguliasana. So now I just want you to break the belt as I'm doing, because some of you who won't be able to do the arms behind the back in Parsvarottanasana, Paschimottanasana Namaskar, can break the belt in this manner. Keep turning the skin of the inner upper arm from the inside out. And good, Suki. So this is good for anyone who has shoulder issues. Who can't take the hands up the back. We'll do break the belt pose. We'll just call it now, break the belt pose. Okay, now release the belt. And Joanne, I think we'll do this for you. Let's do a calf stretch of your choice. So you can do it on a chair, on the blocks, or you can do this one. Just, Joanne, this might be good for you. Just simply step back. Any calf stretch that we've done for the past 20 years. Pick one. All right, here we go. Carla, that's good. So Carla's doing foot in freestanding. You can have the safest, if you're not used to doing the calf stretch on the blocks, put the blocks against the wall. Heels down, toes up. Good, Val. Joanne, oh, I can see that's, yeah. Change sides, Joanne, let me see. So it's it's the right, no, the left. Oh, okay. Joanne, see if I would have the blocks, instead of put your body so it's more vertical. Put the blocks at that mirror wall. All right, Carla, that's right. Then go forward. Some of you can go forward on the bricks. Nancy, good. Go down. That's it, Andrea, go down. All right, I just wanted to see Joanne's leg as well. Joanne, so this you'll just take a very short stance. That's good, Peggy. You can do it that way, the way you and Lubna are doing it, the way Nancy is, or I don't see anyone doing it with the chair. The chair is also effective. Carla, that's good, bending forward. All right, now come up. That was just kind of a slight detour just to prepare your calves for Parsvottanasana. Now I'm going to have you to take balance out of the mix. Let's do one of the best poses for the frontal groins is a pose called Utthita Baddhasana. So I'm just putting, I'm sideways to the wall. And you could also put a chair here. If you don't have a wall, you could hold the chair. And then watch, I'm going to bend the leg and aim this left knee in line with the right and bring the heel, the left heel, I'll show in profile. You see the knee is not forward, right, left knee not forward of the right. I have to open up that groin, aiming to get that left heel to the outer left hip. Okay, you can show me frontally. Don't listen to the standing leg side. And don't let the chest come forward, meaning you have to really pull up on the pubic bone. See if you can get of the bent leg, everybody, the bent leg. Yeah, Carla, see if you can run the thighs parallel. Yes, you're using the wall, so we're doing this for the groin, so I don't want balance to be an issue for anyone, because oftentimes this pose can be about balance, or at least a third about balance. Change sides when you're ready. Lubna, try it when you bend the leg, try not to let the leg go. I don't know if you realize that it's splaying out. Maybe you just did it, it's going out to the side. See if you can just lift the leg and bend it and keep the thigh running parallel. Okay, let's see, Andrea, good. Good, Peggy. Everybody needs more lift from the sides of the pubic bone. Mary Beth, show me frontally, so I want to see the pubic bone lifting. Good, Carla. Chest up, chest up, chest up. We're doing this for the frontal groins. Good, Val. Chest up. Joanne, excellent. Chest up, Sue. Chest up. Good, Winnie. I know some of you are holding the foot with two hands. That's optional. Okay, that's very good. All right, now release. Well done. So remember this one. Know its name. Utthita. Utthita means standing. Baddhasana. Bhekasana. Okay. All right. Now this is what we're going to do. So we've done this many, many, many times before. We're going to stand at the top of the mat. You won't need props. And we're doing, so Parsvottanasana. I want everyone begging you to know that this pose, because this pose is a forward bend, but it has three stages. The first stage, and that's the only stage we're doing, is the standing upright stage, Utthita. Then it has the forward bend concave stage, and then it has its forward bend. So I'm going to show this now to you. All right. So this is the name of the pose that we probably do, I'd say, as much as dog pose. So watch. It starts upright. My lower spine is spreading. My thoracic's moving in, and it's upright. Okay. And eventually the hands are in Paschimottanasana. I'll show you the full pose. Then I touch the concave, and then I go down. But today we're only doing the standing, and you'll probably be relieved, okay? I'm pointing this out because this pose is often the platform for both forward bending and back bending. But today we're not forward bending or back bending. We're actually doing a much more who knew, right, Val? We're doing a much more creative sequence. Okay, so with that said, stand at the top of the mat, and just like you did, and I alluded to this earlier, Ekapada Supine, I want you to raise your leg as high as you can. Lift it straight up. Aim to get the right knee to your collarbones. Come on. We've been doing this for 20 years. Lift the leg up. Good, Nance. Lift it up. Yes, the left leg will bend a smidge, but try to keep it straight. Tom, lift your right leg up. That's it. Be much higher if you can. And you don't have to hold it. You're just lifting it up. It's actually easier to hold it. Okay, now change sides. Lubna, that's good. Left leg up. Good, Andrea. Lift it up. Aim to get the knee. Joanne, if it's too much, don't go as high. Good, Supi. So this is this is partly, of course, balance, but we're doing it for the frontal groins. Okay, keep going. Do at least 8 each side. Okay, now stand in Samastiti, have the memory of the brick. Put your hands and compact them on the corners of where the pelvis and the top of the thigh meet. Now you're going to lift the left leg high up and extend it back. Joanne, take a shorter stance. Don't go so wide. Okay, now remember why did we do Supta 1? I want the back heel has to be down. Lift the arches, compact the hips. No legs are bending, no knees. Get the hip compacting, hips compact. Now, from the hips compacting, let the lower spine spread and lift your thoracic spine, your rib cage away from the floor with the hands on the hips. Look up, look up from the eyes of the chest. Keep the back leg straight. Keep the back leg straight. So I want the spine to be tall. Don't push forward the lumbar spine. That's what everyone does. The abdomen is moving forward and the chest is leaning back. So keep your lower spine, Nadia, perpendicular to the floor. Okay, now lower the chin so it's parallel. Well done. Kick forward with the back leg and same thing other side. So Nadia, today we're using Parsvottanasana, this upright stage, as a platform for not forward bending, not back bending, but to revolve flank stretch. Okay, now you're lifting the, which leg up? Right leg up, way up high. Now you can start with this. Lift the right leg up, 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 up. Try not to lean back. That's good, Joanne. Now reach it back. Left leg's in front. Now get situated, that's it, Carla, with both legs straight. All right, now, both legs need to be straight. That's why we did Supta 1, Nadia, which we did. Supta 1, that means no knees, especially the back leg is not bending. Now get the compactness in the hips, right? Because if you don't get the compactness in the hips, the spine will not be supple and tall. Let the lower spine spread, have the memory of what we did, remember in Shavasana, with the legs on the chair, and Dvipada. Now, move the thoracic spine in and up and look up. Look up more from the moons of the chest. Joanne, that's good with the shorter stance. Look up. Spine is tall. It's not so much leaning back. Get better, Val. The lower spine should be upright, perpendicular to the floor. Good, Andrea. All right, now kick forward with the back leg. Well done. All right, now we're going to do the same exact thing. So think about how it's sequenced now. Remember when we did Supta 1 and then I asked you to put the block underneath your sacrum? Now everyone except for you, Joanne, is going to step further back. All right, so we always do the right leg first, especially on Zoom, because otherwise it's a nightmare. Okay, so I'm going to lift my left leg, right? I'm aiming it to get to the collarbones. Then I'm going to go further back than even the first. Why am I going further back? Because I have to open up this left groin. And then again, legs straight, compact hips. This time, you're going to take your hands. I'm just showing you this either in Paschima Namaskar. Some of you will not be able to do it. I don't want you to do Baddha Hasta because that pushes the abdomen forward, but do the belt breaker. That's why we did it. So anyone who has a shoulder issue, let's see, Tom, you'll use the belt. Peggy, you'll use the belt. Suki, you'll use the belt. All right, here we go. Same thing. Same exact pose. It's taking back your left, lifting your left leg high up. Good, Val. Reaching back. Go wider than you think for all except for Joanne. All right, now legs are straight, compact the hips. Some of you have the belt on. Others of you have used movement, turning the arms, good, Mary Beth, inside out. So now the arms are in Paschima or the belt breaker. Now this is really good for you because Baddha Hasta would make your abdomen come forward. I'm really glad you chose that. All right, now, again, legs are straight. Carla, see if you can draw up a little bit more on the front leg. So yeah, the leg isn't bending. Now look up from the eyes of the chest. Look up. Don't let the abdomen come forward. Andrea, good. You're keeping the lower spine tall. Lower spine tall, thoracic moves in. Good, Nancy. The spine should feel supple and tall. Now bring the chin back to parallel. Kick forward with the back leg. Same thing, other side. Well done. Really good work. All right, so left leg will be in front, so you're going to lift your right. Very high up. This is a tapas in itself. And then reach back. Go wider than you think. Open up that groin. Now arms in the belt breaking position. That's just my term. Or Paschima Namaskar. Now, those of you who are able to have the hands high up in the back where the thoracic spine resides, then use your hands to kick that part of the spine in. Don't move, don't let the lower spine move in, Lubna. That's, yeah. So those of you who are fortunate to have the hands higher up on your back, it's easier to do. Otherwise, you're breaking the belt. Now look up from the eyes of the chest. So you can see why Parsvottanasana is a prelude to back bending, but also to forward bending. Now bring the chin back to parallel, kick forward with the back leg, and out you come. Okay, those look good. Those look good. Now, so here's what I want to say, especially to those of you who teach and who go to more advanced classes, and that's wonderful. So oftentimes that pose that we just did, we did the first stage, which is standing. The second stage is concave back. The third is a deep forward bend, is a precursor to deep forward bends or to back bends. And I want you to understand why, because with the chin up, look up. But today we're taking a slightly different creative path to do Pavrita Parsvakonasana. So now I'm going to have you do this. Utthita Bekasana again, facing the wall. Now aim to get the thighs flush to the wall. So some of you have the knee forward. I want you to bring your bent leg so that the knee is in line with the standing leg. Utthita Bekasana again. And then we're doing a front-facing Parsvakonasana. Everyone has a chair, it need not be good soon. Now you can hold the foot. Good, Carla. Now resist lifting to the standing leg side. Now pull up on the pubic bone of the bent leg. So now, Tom, we're doing Utthita Bekasana again, this one, where the leg is bent, one leg is bent. Good, Nancy. Buttock flesh moving toward the knees, back ribs up. See if you can align the knees so that they're good, Lubna, flush. Well done. Change sides. Good, good, good. So this is for the frontal groins. Well done. Aim to, yeah, if you can hold the foot with two hands, then you get a two for as much as it is for that left groin, it is for the shoulder blades. So we're using the wall so balance is not an issue. You know, we want to really work the groin and not be concerned about balance. Okay, and out you come. Now you'll need a chair, it need not be a yoga chair, and a block. So we're doing what I call a front-facing Parsvakonasana. So you all know, I always say Jarvis's favorite pose. So I don't want to get anyone confused. We've been doing Parsvakonasana. We've done it a gazillion times. This is Parsva. Parsva means side out. That's Parsvakonasana. So when I say front-facing Parsvakonasana, maybe I should eliminate Parsva, it means this. Oh, and by the way, I would have a block for underneath my foot. So I'm putting a block on a mat so it doesn't slide off the chair. And then I'm getting very close to the wall and I put my foot on it. And remember I explained many weeks ago how the knee should be slightly higher than the hip, and the hip is right, it's not up again, it's not touching the wall, but it's very close up. So this is Parsvakonasana. And notice how the left hip bone, I'm making this distinction because we're doing a few iterations, is in line with the left angle. All right, let me see this. So it's not the Parsva one. Yeah, so not yet. So it's a front facing, we'll call it just to first vocabulary, front facing. Good, Mary Beth. See that the knee is good, Mary Beth, slightly higher. That's it. That's it. Okay, so everyone gets situated. I don't want you to be too, Winnie, step in a smidge with the standing leg. We'll get to the leg further back. Nancy, let's see. Right leg is on the seat of the chair, Lubna, when you're ready. Knee is a little bit, and you're facing me. No, Lubna. So bring your chest to face me. So it's a front facing. Joanne, have the chest in, that's Parshva Kunchanasana. Andrea, that's Parshva Kunchanasana. It's this one. The chest is facing the leg. It's not this. That's Parshva Kunchanasana, front facing. So your chest is facing the knee. That's it, Joanne. Okay, good. Knee is slightly higher. Good, Nancy. All right, now change sides, turn the chair around, other side, left leg. So this is called front facing. I don't know what you call it, Nadia. You could tell me if you, this is what Jarvis often says, front facing Parshva Kunchanasana, but it's not really Parshva. Good, Nancy. Knee is smidge higher. So if some people will need blocks, some don't. Suk, move in a little bit because your heel is behind the groin. That's it. Joanne, good. Joanne, really good. Good, good, good. Hard, so that we'll call it front face. Winnie, step in again on this side because the heel, you want your foot in line with this first iteration, in line with the groin. Even more, Winnie, in more. All right. All right, now we're going to go back to the right side before we get to stepping back. So watch, everyone. Then it becomes, it's interesting. We're actually going to turn toward the wall and my right leg on the block on the chair. And this becomes now Utthita Marichiyasana 1, a pose that's often used in back therapeutics. We're not using it today for back therapeutics. We're using it as a path to Pavrita Parshvattanasana. Okay, so go back to the right side. Again, everybody watch your left foot. So some of you have the left foot too far back. We'll get there, but not yet. Utthita Marichiyasana. Some of you might find that turning the heel out of the left leg might help. Now put your hands on the wall and sense you're pulling the wall down as you turn to the right. So the trapezius, good, Nancy, moves away from the neck. Utthita Marichiyasana. That's it, Andrea. Arms can be, they can be in line. Hands can be in line with the shoulders. Well done. Now come back to center. Utthita Marichiyasana 1, left leg on chair. So it's often used, as I said, for back care, but we're using today as a platform for revolve flying. Andrea, that the bed is working well. So Suki, the leg that's on the chair is the one that's closest to the wall. So Suki, you reverse the legs, yeah. That's it. Now you've got the right distance, Winnie. Good. All right, these look good. It's also very, very common to do this with back care. And oftentimes the people who have pain in the back, they'll turn out their right heel and they'll feel width across the sacrum. That left hip can be almost touching the wall. Pull the wall down. Keep the trapezius moving down as you turn to the left. Well done. Okay, now come back to center. Now, what we're going to do is go back to what we just did, only further back, just like what we did in Parshvattanasana. So watch, and we're going to combine the turning of Utthita Marichiyasana 3. This is where it gets creative. All right, so watch. So you just had the right leg, and I just made a big fat point about keeping the left hip bone aligned with the ankle. Now I'm taking that away. I'm going further back. You see, we have to be careful, guys. I don't want anyone falling. So do you see? Now it's more for that same groin. And then I'm going to get a little turning power. So I'm aiming to hook the left arm on the outer right knee and I turn my chest toward the wall. So now my left leg is much further back. My left foot is not underneath the left groin. It's further back, like we did in Parshvattanasana. I don't want, but everyone goes slowly because when you step further back, you can fall. That's it, Mary Beth. Yes, Carla, that's it. Just step back. Joanne, be careful, but keep the right knee in line over the right leg that's up on the chair. Good, Sue. Is in line over the knee. It's the back leg. That's it, Nancy. Now hook your left arm to the out. Good, Winnie. On the outer, these look really good. Front facing, Val, so right foot's on the seat of the chair, good. Now lean toward the wall and turn. So doesn't it feel like, those of you who know Pavrita Parsvakonasana, is this not a more upright iteration? Well done. Come back to center and change sides. Good, that was really good. But see if you can keep the aerial, now the left leg, keep the knee over the ankle. All right. So I'll call this, it's kind of an upright Pavrita Parsvakonasana. That's it. Left leg on, that's it. Now you're hooking right elbow, good, good, good. Back up the right leg, back up the right leg to open up that groin. Winnie, see if you can keep the knee over the ankle of the front leg. That's it, Nancy. And turn. Take the hands wider. That will help some of you move the trapezius down. Tom, the hands could be lower, so more in line with the shoulders. Yeah, because if you lift the hands up, it's that height, Tom, it's just causing your back muscles to lift up. Carla, this is good. Now see if you can turn, get those right side of the ribs to move into the blue wall. Yes, the right, even the upper, right underneath your, in your thoracic collar. Okay, and then come out. All right, well done. So this is, you start, like we're setting this pathway in. Now this is the easy part. All right, so I'm taking my chair. Let's see, I'm just trying to get the, oh yeah, backrest here. This is what I call the backrest. And I'm sitting in the chair. That's the easy part, all right? And my feet are hip width apart. My feet are on the floor. Then watch, just like you did at the wall, this is like a chair Pashasana. I'm hooking my left elbow on my outer right knee. And look, now I'll show you from the side. Those of you who know Pashasana, Nadia and others, Val, you know this is, which is done when the feet are on the floor, no chair, but you can see how it really helps in the chair to use the backrest. So here I'm excavating. I'm lifting the left side of my abdomen up and over, and then look how I'm merging the left side of my chest, this is my left side, with my outer right thigh, and I turn to face you, okay? All right, so you can do it in that iteration. So the backrest of the chair, if you have a yoga chair, I'm turning to the right, so the backrest is to the right. And then raise the left arm and hook. And then you have to begin the excavation. But what I mean by excavation is the lifting of the abdomen, good Nadia, up and over. To take time, lift. You have to merge the left side. Remember I talked about in Dvipada, merge the chest with the legs. Merge the chest with the legs. Go lower, Joanne, if you can. So I don't want to see any gap. There should be no gap of space between the left side of your body and your outer right thigh. Good, Luna. Really good. That's it, Mary Beth. Now watch the trapezius. Don't let the trapezius hike up to the ears. Just like you pull down the wall. Remember that. Beautiful. Okay, now I usually just swivel around, but because Jarvis made a point of not doing that, yeah, Valerie, you'll never, who wouldn't swivel around? So he says, get up and go and sit back down. But I love to swivel. It feels very cool. All right, everybody raise the arms up to get the energy. All right, sharp exhalation. Now begin the excavation. We all have to, we spend so much time alone, we have to just be humorous to ourselves. Now, here's the interesting part among many things. One side is generally harder to turn to. So is it your left or is it your right? Keep working it. Lift up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over. Merge the right side even more, Suki. I don't want to see any space, Joanne. Fill in that gap. Good, Andrea. Fill in that gap. That's it. Your armpit, your right armpit is resting onto your outer left leg. They're merging. No, so here's space. Here's a big gap. I fill in that space. Oh boy, that's a big turn. I can feel it. It's like the insides are being twisted. Okay, now watch. Going back. Swivel, swivel, swivel. Don't tell Jarvis. All right, so I'm sitting in the middle. All right, And now I lift up. Now watch, I'm going back to where I was, only this time I'm going to take my right arm, turn the bicep flesh, if you can see this, and bring my hand to the floor. So you were here in the hook stage. Now I'm turning the biceps flesh and aiming to get the hand down to the floor. If the hand doesn't come to the floor, then use your block on the lower side. All right, here we go again. So this is Pashasana to the right with chair. Yes, the arms up can get length, and then sharp exhalation, turn. Sharp exhalation. Now excavate, aim to fill in the gap, Joanne, no space between the left side and your outer thigh, and then turn the skin of the biceps of the left arm, good Andrea, excuse me, and aim to get the hand down to the floor or the brick. Down to the floor. Let me just adjust this camera. You see, so I'm here if you need to look at me. Now the hand, now it's true, I have long arms, so it's a little bit easier. The hand is on the floor. That's good, Lubna. Beautiful. Head back. Carl, yeah, that's it. Use the back rest. Head back. Beautiful. Use the back rest. It's a beautiful thing. These shapes look really good. Okay, now we'll get up out of the chair. And of course, change sides. Okay, so we take you one step further. So I like what Val you did. You took the arms up because actually after you've twisted, when you take the arms up, there's a lot of freedom in that mid band. And then sharp exhalation, sharp exhalation to excavate. So that's where you have to lift up and over, lift, lift, lift. This is where the work becomes apparent, and then use the left hand to turn the right arm, turn, and get that right hand to the floor. You will feel a deep intestinal twist. This is probably good before one goes to get a colonoscopy. That's good, Lubna. Really good. Okay, and now come up and just do this. Just sit in the chair this way. Of course, you can't do this if you don't have a backless chair, but this will feel really nice on your organs, like Dvipada. Okay, just sit here. Spread the sacrum. You're gonna hold the shins to be more upright versus leaning back. Spread the sacrum, well done. All right, now we're putting together the pieces, so watch. So I'm turning to the right first, as we always do. So the backrest of the chair is here, the backrest will be to the right. And then we've done this before, watch. I'm putting the right leg, knee over ankle. That's right, all right. Then compacting the hips, I'm on the ball of the back foot. I get the tonus in the spine, sharp exhalation, hook, and then we'll combine two stages, hook and turn, and we're in Pavrita Parshvanasana on the chair. So see how we got here from Parshvanasana. Good, Carl, you can show me in profile. Stretch, yeah, the right leg is in front. Taller people might need a blanket for their back of their thigh. Now, sharp exhalation, Val, hook, left elbow over outer right thigh, and then excavate. Good, Mary Beth. Turn the skin. So you're going the other way, Andrea. So the right leg's in front, and you're turning to the right. So it's Pavrita. Good. That's it, Nancy. Pavrita Parshvanasana with chair. That's really good with the blanket there for your hip, Nadia. The right blanket, yeah, I know you're using it for the, Joanne, that's good work in the back leg. So left leg is in front, right leg's in front. And you're turning to the right. Peggy, good. Winnie, beautiful. Now come out. All right, left leg. So I'm just turning around. So the left leg's in front. And it's opposite arm. Yeah, it's the right arm is going across the left leg. These look really good. And see how we got here. At this point, it's an hour in. We got here. That's it, Andrew. Now you have it. It's opposite arm, opposite leg. Lumina, that's good. The back heel can be at the wall. These are all options. Joanne, you're really working well. That's it. So it's a hook and turn. Hook and turn. hook and excavate, and then you're turning the skin of the biceps. Okay, these look good, so we're gonna go on. All right, now we're gonna do the same pose, sans, without chair. All right, so you all know this. So think out where we start. We started with this thing where we were here, frontal facing of Kunchanasana. Then we backed up, and this looks like a lunge. So now we're actually gonna come into a lunge. I'll just show on my left side. So this is a lunge position from the floor. So we're moving along. We've done it in the chair. Now we're taking away the chair. You will have your right leg in front, and then watch. I'm doing the same exact thing that I did with 2 legs when I sat on the chair, hooking, excavating, turning. Some of you might need a block on the outside of your right leg. And then I'm going to lift the back leg up. So the hard part about this is to keep the back leg straight, okay? So Pavrita, revolve, flying stretch to the right from a lunge position. Observe how we've gotten there. So remembering the lunge position, guys, instead of having your, let's see, you have your right leg in front. Instead of having your left knee directly in line, remember what I said, go further back. Start with the knee behind the hip. So it's kind of, you're in that lunge position. Why? Because we open that window. Raise the arms up, get length, sharp exhalation, hook stage, and then turn skin stage. Aim to get, Nancy, you'll need the block, aim to get the hand to the floor. See how everything we did fits in. Turning, turning, turning. Remember, legs are straight, hips are compact, good, Peggy, and turn. These look really good. Good, Val. Lift the right above the knee, up of the back left leg. Now you use the blanket for the hip. Tom, it's opposite. So the right leg's in front, it's the left arm that's crossing over. Pavrita, good, Andrea, and come out. And Nancy, it's fine. If you cannot lift the back leg up, so be it. It's challenging. All right, left leg in front. These look good. Mary Beth, that's it. Take the left leg now. I'll see it from a different angle. Back out the back leg. Now you're starting in a good position because the leg is backed up. That's it, Lubna. All right, now raise the arms up, reach up, reach up, reach up, aerate out your abdomen. Now sharp exhalation. The left leg's in front. It means that right arm is hooking. Then you excavate, lift up and over, then turn the right arm inside out, get the hand to the floor. Then final thing, compact the hips, tuck the back right toes under, lift up. That's it, lift up. Carla, when you're, just tuck the toes under, lift up. Tom, now you have it. Andrea, that's beautiful. Chin away, these look really, really good. I mean, there's not a bad one in the bunch. All right, and now come out, well done. Well done. All right, now let's, because you've done so well, wasn't planning to do this, but I think I will. Get a blanket, everybody, 1 or 2, but definitely 1. All right. Now we haven't done this in some time, but instead of going to some counter poses for twist, let's continue on to Ardha Matsyendrasana, which we have not done. So I want to teach just the leg position because we have not done it in some time. Now, take a blanket. You can have 1 or 2. I want to show you the leg position. So one of the things, there are certain poses I will say, it's odd to think about this pose. When you're wearing a sneaker, it's much easier because, watch, I'm going to show. I'll just stretch out my legs, just and watch. And then I'm going to sit back on my left foot. So my buttock bones are in contact with my inner left heel and my big toe of the right foot, okay? Now for balance sake, it will be, one can be very lopsided in this pose. So in addition to having the sneaker on, I put the blanket there, and then I'm crossing the right leg over to the on the side of the left knee, not too far out because I want that right shin to be perpendicular to the floor. So let's just do the leg position of Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you're stretching out the legs and then you're sitting. You can put, well, I'll just say it in different terms. You're sitting basically on the side of the left foot. in this manner. You can do it in different ways, and then crossing over the right leg. All right, and then you'll hold the shin, and it's interesting, Nancy, because putting on a sneaker actually helps you sit actually with some comfort on that left foot. I mean, most teachers will not tell you that, but it's absolutely true. And then lift up. Okay, if anyone's having knee pain, I can show you a way to do it. You'll sit between on a block and have the feet further out to the side. Put the blanket in so that you can really lift your spine up. Okay, and now change sides when you're ready. Stretch out the legs, go back to Dandasana, and now you're sitting on your right foot. So there are different ways to come into it. Your buttocks belong to the inner right heel and big toe mound respectively. Then you're crossing the left leg over. The foot is not too far out. So I'm keeping that right foot and I'm really pressing strongly the left big toe, left inner heel, so that left shin is perpendicular. If you find you're toppling over, put a blanket underneath your buttocks. Okay, now press the big toe mound of the left foot, inner heel, and lift the side ribs up. Lift the side ribs up. So this is the very first position of Ardha Matsyendrasana. Where the spine is upright, we haven't done the twist. Okay, now come out, stretch out your legs. On Friday, I'll teach the full twist, stretch out your legs. And now I'd like you to just rest your abdomen in Supta Baddha Konasana, have a belt nearby. We'll do Supta 2 afterward. Okay, so now after the twist, I'd like you to just spread your abdomen in Supta Baddha Konasana with the arms out to the sides. If anyone had pain in the knees in that last pose, you'll let me know and I can show you a way to do Ardha Matsyendrasana with the block. All right, just let the legs go out to the side and just focus on the breath, breathing in and breathing out. And letting the chest unfold and the abdomen unfold. Because we actually did a fair amount of twisting. The sides of the navel. Spread. Press the feet, widen the thighs away, because most of the time we're in internal rotation of the leg. Now when you're ready, you're going to bring the feet back to the floor, stretch your legs out, have the belt nearby. We're going to decentralize the left leg and go to Supta Padangusthasana 2, again, for spaciousness as an antidote to the twisting, to create space in the organic body. So now when you're ready, decentralize as if you have room for the left leg to go a little further out to the side. Good Val. That's really good. Broadening across the pubic plate. So, think of this at this point in the game, not so much for your inner thighs and inner groins, but more for the organic body. Keep the right arm straight. Good, Supi. Resist through the inner left arm. So Supta Padangusthasana 2 after Supta Baddha Konasana. And then when you're ready, take the right leg up and change sides, left leg. Now I'll show a sort of a precursor to Shavasana that is nice on the hips. So Supta 2, left side now. So some of you had come in late when we had done a Shavasana that we've been doing for many months now to relax the body. There's a Shavasana more for the lower legs on the seat of the chair for the back. Now I'm going to show you, in a moment, I'll show you a Shavasana more for the hips. Nadia, this is for you, okay? I'm sure you know this one. Now the leg is out to the side, super two. Out to the side. And feel how this is really an antidote to the twists. The twists are the other, it's completely the opposite of what you're in now. Twist. The legs were an internal rotation, now they're an external rotation, twisting to one side. Okay. So now let me just show you this rather simple way of doing this in a little bit more complicated way, Nadia, which you can belt the hip, perhaps the more problematic hip with the belt going in the front, but I'm not going to get into that for everyone. Everyone else can just use a bolster or 2 blankets. So this is a Shavasana that's good for the hips, all right? So watch, I'm going to just show it quickly. So my heel hinge, that's the back of my heel, not so much the calf, is on the bolster. And having the heels elevated on the bolster, the heel hinge, it's like the femur bones are floating. The femur bones are like floating in midair. Now, some people, Val, will complain of, I shouldn't say complain, but they might hyperextend their knees in this one. If that's the case, rolling a little bit of blanket behind the calf can be helpful. So you can experience the femur heads will feel like they're floating in space. So this is a Shavasana to be distinguished from the back Shavasana for the hips. Nadia, you know how to put the belt on, right hip, left hip. Okay. Now the other option is belting the feet. Yeah, belting the feet. But I want to make it simple because I find when it's a lot prop intensive, people don't do it. Just get that heel hinge, good Mary Beth, right? So it's that heel hinge, not the back of the leg. It's just the elevation. No one did it, but when I asked you to do Supta One with the heel hinge support, I didn't see anyone do it. It's like that. Okay. Now, Nadia, just observe how the femurs feel in the hip sockets. If you have any hyperextension, you can just roll up a blanket and support the back of the calf. So we're now resting with the heel hinge on the bolster and doing a hip Shavasana. We'll call it a hip Shavasana. And then this is a prelude to our regular Shavasana. That's it, Carl. And just have the arms out to the side. So Nadia can have a belt at the greater trochanter where basically where the pumpkin and the cucumber meet and the heel hinges support. Okay. That's a more elaborate setup. Good move. I want you to close your eyes and bring your attention to the tops of the thighs. So that skin moving to the bone. And how the femurs feel like they're just floating in space. Again, if anyone feels that they're hitting their knees back, hyperextending the knees, you can put a little bit of blanket underneath the calf flesh. The other thing is to belt the feet, not so much the shins, but the feet, the outer edges of the feet. If you have the setup I see some of you have the outer shin, but it would be in this one more the feet is the more therapeutic iteration for hips. Don't worry if you have the legs belted with the shin. Just relax. The main thing I want you to do is take away throughout all these classes is that you have tools in your toolbox for when you're, if you're in any discomfort, be it in the hips or the back. And just relax. And observe how the femurs seem to just float in space. Perhaps you sense you're floating in space. And then you can go prone. Now, what I'd like you to do is move very with alacrity, but with a sense of purpose. So place the feet on the floor, and untie the belt if it's there. And then I'd like everyone to do, we haven't done this in some time, what I call an anterior facing child's pose, so that the chest is supported. Let the lower spine spread, and then we'll do our final relaxation. So anterior, the chest, anterior means front side, supported, child's pose. Have the arms, those of you with any shoulder issue, then clearly go out to the side, yeah, out to the side or tucked under or bent, that's it. The way you had it, Luna, was good. So now, because I don't want you to alert the brain, have the arms not overhead, out to the side or behind you. This child's pose, so we don't want to alert the brain. We're still moving to Shavasana. So the arms go out to the side, gently bent. That's it. Good. Support the trunk. So the chest has, you can spread your lower abdomen and sacrum. Get that the bolster right between the legs. And if you need additional forehead support, you can take it. Remember, if the buttocks don't come to the knees, build up height in front of you. Build up extra height in front. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you, you can do either go back to the chair Shavasana or the hip Shavasana, whichever you, or Winnie for you, obviously your prone Shavasana, whatever you felt was more comfortable. So the one that we did at the beginning, with the lower legs on the seat of the chair, or the heels supported, the heel hinge on the bolster. So I'm doing this because it's, it's important, again, to just do them often enough so they become your default position. It's like, when we work with deconditioning of the mind. So we're inclining the mind to something and it becomes the default position. So I'll give you time to get, yeah, that's it, Carla. If you need the chair, bring it back. You can put the bolster on the abdomen, bolster on the tops of the thighs, for the back. Or you can do the hip Shavasana. So it's interesting, you think about the beginning of the class and the end of the class, and there's an involution. There's a process that goes on before the class, and there's a process that goes on before Shavasana. So today we allowed some poses to process that involution. So the lower legs can be on the seat of the chair. Luna, that's good for the traction of the back. Or you can do the hip Shavasana again, if some of you found that helpful. Just relax. Of course, when people say just relax, it's not really that helpful because it's hard to relax. So notice what helps you be present. And what often helps is the feeling of the body. You feel the presence of the body grounded into the earth. You can feel the breath. You can feel the center line of your spine. Brings you to the here and now. Different tools work, for different people. To go back to what we spoke of earlier when we sat together, is just knowing that you're lying down. You're in the seated posture, know that you're sitting, and now you're lying down, prone, know that you're lying down. Encouraging sense of well-being, stilling, stopping, pausing. Now you'll be able to see much more clearly because we spent an hour and a half together that you've set aside the usual conditional treadmills of your life. Moving around, reacting, and making space through the yoga practice for these, what I'll call fresh responses to arise. Seeing things in a new light, not in the same conditional habits of mind. In fact, one of the very best definitions I've ever heard of yoga was this: yoga is the deconditioning of the mind. BKS Iyengar used to say that habit is a disease. Make space for fresh responses to arrive, responding freshly in ways perhaps not thought about. Incline your mind to seeing freshly, to seeing anew, as if for the first time. And then again, as what I like to say, a daily Dharma practice is see throughout the day the little ways in which you suffer. It's just the littlest way. Oh, the water's too cold. Oh, the water's too hot. It's the smallest of things that trigger a habitual response. And see if you can incline the mind to see the situation in a new way. When you do that, there will be a fresh response. And of course, we do this with the small things because it's not so easy to do with the big things. So we have to find the small things, which we all have throughout every day. Many, many to find. We'll see. See what happens. And make it an experiment. Most of what I consider meditation is resilience training and conducting an experiment. See what happens when. That's the question. If I do this, think about this in this way, see what happens. Making the experiment. Of course, as I said, it's much easier to do the smaller things and challenging for bigger things. We're just planting the seeds now throughout the day. We're seeing anew, making new and fresh responses to the old habitual ways. Now, I will say that if doing child's pose was helpful, you can throw in a child's pose now. If not, don't worry about it, just stay where you are. And then momentarily we'll transition to an upright posture. And then if anyone has questions, you can unmute yourselves. So with that said, either go to child's pose or be upright. And then again, create that suppleness and that tallness in the spine by compacting the hips and spreading the sacrum. So we started with that at the very beginning to create the very right conditions for the spine to be tall, upright, supple, not rigid. And of course, that's what makes you, when you sit upright for 40 minutes, when you have those conditions, you can stay upright. Not to say that of course you can meditate lying down and standing and whatnot. Okay, everyone. And then when you're ready, gently allow your eyes to open. You can stretch out your legs. And then if anyone has any questions, please stay on. You just have to unmute yourselves.